Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for Ready, Set, NetSuite. My name is Laura Ginsberg. I'm the marketing director here at Luxent, and we're excited to have you join us today as we take a look at what NetSuite can do for your business. A couple of quick housekeeping items. We are recording this session, and you'll get an email later today that will tell you how you can access a recording. Feel free to enter questions as we go. We'll do our very best to get to all the questions we receive today. If we don't get your question answered here live, we will follow up directly and get you that response. I'm joined today by Ben Katerberg, Chief Solution Architect here at Luxent, and Vivian Kina, our President and CEO. So let's go ahead and look at our agenda for the session today. It's going to be pretty brief because we know that what you really want is to see behind the scenes. So we'll tell you a little bit about ourselves, a little bit about NetSuite, and then we will get into that live demo. We'll be sure to talk about packaging and pricing, as we know those are big questions every business has. And then we'll get to your questions as we wrap up. So thanks again for being here. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Vivian.
Thank you, Laura. Hi, I'm Vivian Kina. I'm the President and CEO of Luxent. We're very excited to have you here today and to have the attendance we have. So Luxent was founded in 2009 and located in Southern California. We're considered for NetSuite a NetSuite Premier Solutions Partner, which really means we do everything from the help companies with the selection of a new ERP to the implementation and then the ongoing support. Trying to help them through that full journey of their next ERP. We're also a certified Suite Cloud developer, which means we're building applications on the NetSuite App Exchange and are certified to do that. Our focus has been from the very beginning on startups and mid-market in the manufacturing, distribution, service, and software primarily verticals. Just to tell you a little bit about NetSuite, a little history. NetSuite has been around since 1998, and their original name was NetLedger. And they really started as an accounting software company, and they've been around 25 years, but I would still say that they're in their early stages of their life cycle. With rapid growth, 32,000 customers worldwide, and 6,000 plus customers. I think that number's a little bit low, but 6,000 plus customers in the last 12 months. Traveling the globe and considered the first cloud ERP. I love this slide primarily because it really shows the breadth of the product. Many ERPs really focus on a specific industry. What NetSuite's been able to do is been able to build in the functionality to satisfy many industries: service, software, manufacturing, distribution, and others, right? And what's really critical of that is many companies can't just be one thing today. They can't just be a distributor. They have to be a distributor and possibly have some retail and sell direct to the end consumer, or they might be a manufacturer and distributor. So all of us are doing multiple things, which allows NetSuite to be really able to satisfy multiple verticals and multiple needs. The breadth of the product is very rich. As I said, it started out as a financial product, but has significantly grown into the order management and production, warehouse management, inventory. One of the things NetSuite loves is acronyms. So SCM, for those of you who don't know the acronyms, is supply chain management. CRM is your customer relationship management, and HCM, which is your human capital management. So really deep breadth of the solution that's available for you. And with that, I am going to actually turn it over to Ben Katerberg, and he is going to give you a kind of sneak behind the scenes of NetSuite.
Hello, everybody. As Vivian mentioned, I'm Ben Katerberg, the Chief Solution Architect here at Luxent. As we start getting into the system, I just wanted to share just a couple of these slides that just represent some of the dashboards in NetSuite. So this is an example of a kind of senior executive dashboard that has some KPIs, some visual graphics for some of the reporting metrics around sales. The CFO dashboard, once again, you're going to see a lot of the financial metrics here and graphics. All of this is front and center on a very specially designed role for each person in the organization that gives them navigation and reporting right off the bat, right in front of them, so that they're not getting lost. They're not having to pull things from lots of different systems. It's all right there at their fingertips. So I'm going to jump into our NetSuite instance here. And I'm going to start out logged in as a controller. Very first things you'll see here is on the left-hand side, there's a reminders portlet. This is where I'm able to have the system really tell me what's on my checklist, what's on my to-do list. So I can see here, obviously, this particular controller has some bills to approve, some sales orders to approve. I've got some dashboard tiles where I can actually pull up some of my financial statements. So here's a cash flow statement here. I have the ability to segment this. Maybe I want to see cash flows by location. So I can obviously see values segmented by column. I can also filter them, and I can drill into them as well. So here's my balance sheet. Maybe I want to see if I'm a global organization with multiple entities. Maybe I want to see my balance sheet broken down by subsidiaries. So here's Canada, here's my parent company, here's my US, here's my consolidated total. In any one of these reports that I have here, so if I'm looking at my inventory positions, I'm able to click on my numbers and get further into the details of the report, all the way down to individual transactions. So let's say I want to look at my income statement, and I can segment my income statement by product class. I can look at revenue by my product class A, product class C, and then I can drill into these details, and I can see here's a specific cash sale, here's some invoices. These are the transactions associated with the revenue postings. All right, so what I'm going to do next here is I'm going to run through a quick little demo, starting with a procurement process, receiving all the way through the sales and then AR process here. So I'm going to flip my role over to a supply chain manager. So once again, all of these roles that are in NetSuite here, when you purchase NetSuite, these come pre-configured for you based on your business vertical and your size of your organization. So all of these reminders, tiles, KPIs, these dashboards also come pre-configured. That way you're not starting from scratch. From day one, when you get NetSuite, you could log in with any one of these roles and see some of these reminders and dashboards, and then make little tweaks. It's a lot easier to start with something pre-configured than having to build this all from scratch here. So right now I'm logged in here as a supply chain manager. The other great thing about NetSuite is I have lots of things that trigger action for me. So you'll see here I have this reminder portlet. I have 12 items to order. As a supply chain manager, I can go into the system here, and these are all of the items that the system is informing me that I need to make a purchase for. So let's say here I have a 5-ounce bottle with cap. I have my vendor set up as a preferred vendor. I have some pricing here, and then I can see some of the details of why the system is telling me to purchase this. So I can see here I have 94 available. I have a preferred stock level of 100. The system's informing me to buy 6 more. I'm going to go ahead and submit that. It's going to take me to this batch processing screen here. Theoretically, I could have checked all of the boxes in that list, submitted it, and it would create a PO by vendor for me and consolidate all items into a single PO by vendor. When I refresh, I can see it generated a purchase order, PO 410 for me. And if I wanted to have this purchase order sent to my vendor, I have several options here because there is a Outlook integration that's already set up with NetSuite. So I could email directly from this PO. I could check the box to be emailed and save, and it would automatically send the email to my vendor. So a couple different ways I could do this. So I'm clicking the email message here. It's automatically bringing in my recipient from my contact record. I can add additional recipients here. If I had templates pre-configured, I could grab one of those templates for the body of the email. And then on the attachments tab, I can have it include the transaction PDF. And then when I'm done, merge and send. It's just telling me I didn't add anything to the body of my email. And then everything gets recorded in NetSuite right here now tagged to this purchase order. So I can see in the messages section of my purchase order, I have a message here. If I click view, this is what was sent to this recipient. Here's the message. Here's the attachment. I can open up that purchase order and see kind of the look and feel. And then there's also read receipts as well. So when that vendor opens it up, I can see that they opened that email, and then they can reply back to it, and it'll also capture in this purchase order transaction communication history, as well as my Outlook inbox. So now that I created my purchase order, I can flip over to my warehouse role. So as the warehouse manager, I also have my own set of reminder triggers. So one of these reminders here is the orders to receive. If I click on that, you can sort by any one of these columns here. I have it sorted right now by date most recent. Here's my Witt and Anderson vendor PO. You can just receive it here. So when I click receive, all of the necessary information that I needed from the PO automatically flows to the next follow-on transaction, which is an item receipt transaction in NetSuite. So I have this checkbox already checked to receive the bottle caps. The quantity I'm expecting is 6. And then I have this configured right now where I need to define my inventory detail. What's in this inventory detail is bins. So I am specifying here that I have a specific bin that I want to put my items in. An inventory status right now, this one is good. That's the default status. I could say I am receiving 5 good bottle caps into this bin. And then maybe this other bin, when I receive it and it doesn't look like it's quite up to our standards, I'm going to receive it anyways as the warehouse manager, but I'm going to receive it into a separate bin and give it a quality hold status, which should serve as a trigger for my quality department to follow up with this. Then I'm saving my item receipt. And now that was the very first kind of financial posting that I made in the system with one of my transactions. So if I flip on over to my AP analyst role, I have another reminder here. This is my purchase orders to bill. I can see here my purchase order right at the top of the list because I have it sorted this way. If I hold Control on my keyboard and then I click on the hyperlink, I can actually open up more tabs in NetSuite, so I don't have to lose my place if I wanted to stay on this tab, but also view the purchase order. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate to my other tab where I have the PO open. So the nice thing about NetSuite and ERP in general here is I have a lot of document linking. So this is my purchase order transaction, which has no financial impact. But I can see here, I have a related transaction of my item receipt that was performed by my warehouse team. If I click into the item receipt as my AP analyst, I'm able to see the GL impact of that item receipt transaction. This is where I can see that I'm debiting my inventory balance sheet account and I'm posting to my accrued liabilities reconciliation account. If I go back to my billing of my purchase order screen, I can check the box here, bill, submit. It's going to take me to a vendor bill input screen where it automatically pulls over everything I've already received from my purchase order. And I'm able to make adjustments based on the bill that my vendor had sent me. So if they are billing me for a quantity of 7, maybe I would adjust my quantity, or maybe they would change the rate. I was expecting to pay 10 cents per unit. I could adjust my rate here on the vendor bill. And this is a control total here, just to validate that the vendor bill total matches the sum of all my lines. So I'm going to input my vendor bill invoice number. So this is what comes on my vendor bill. This is their reference. I have this set up currently on this form here, this vendor bill form, to be a required field. That's what the star means here. So I'm going to say that they're billing me for exactly what I expect, quantity of 6 at a rate of 10. When I save this, you'll see here the approval status default is pending approval. But when I save this, there's a built-in 3-way match workflow in the background that is validating the PO quantity, the amount, as well as the receipt quantity and amount against that bill. So when I actually look at the bill now, it auto-approved for me because everything matched. I have the ability to set up tolerances so that if maybe they charge me 11 cents and I don't care about the extra penny, it can auto-approve as well. Or if they're charging me 15 cents, it would go through an extra approval process and perhaps there's a follow-up with the vendor. Then once again, as the AP analyst, I can see the accounting impact of the vendor bill posting. I am crediting my open AP for Witt and Anderson, and I am offsetting that accrued liabilities account that I initially hit on my goods receipt transaction. So as the AP analyst, I can click into my AP register here, and I can see more details of everything that's open right now. So I can specify open, and I can change my dates. But this is my current AP register right now. I clicked on this just directly from my GL Impact because I have a hyperlink here. If I go back to my home page, I also have some pre-configured dashboard tiles that'll take me to some other sorts of reporting, such as AP aging, where I can see here my different aging buckets. So here's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, greater than 90. And I can also change my buckets to say, maybe I want 5 bands of 10 days each. Refresh that, and then I can analyze my buckets in different ways. All right, so now that I ran through the AP process, I'm just going to run through the sales side really quickly. I'm going to flip on over to a sales role. All right, you'll notice here, obviously, I have very different reminders. On my dashboard, I have other KPIs that are related to more CRM functionality. So I have sales, I have quotas, I have leads, I have customers. So this is all of the CRM type of functionality here. If I wanted to just generate a new sales order, I do have a dashboard tile for that. So let's say I have a customer on the phone and they would like to place an order with me. So I just click on my little dashboard tile. Takes me to a sales order input form here. The first required field I have is the customer. So I can either find it from the double chevron list here and select it from here. Otherwise, if I know who they are, I can put my cursor in and I can just start typing. Just need 3 characters to suggest something. So I'm going to select Mibu Industries here as my customer. Anything that's linked to the customer master record can default into here. So subsidiary, this customer belongs to my United States subsidiary. So that auto defaults for me here. I can select my location here. So which location is the sale good for? And then some of the other information like sales reps or lead sources. If I have marketing campaigns, I can potentially have some lead sources auto fill in for me here. Sales reps flowing in, obviously this can be helpful for any sort of commissions. If I need to have any payouts, either internal or external sales. So on the items here, I'm just going to do the same purchase of that bottle cap here. Because I know I have it in inventory at the moment. I get a little reminder here that tells me I have so many in stock and I'm going to be triggering a reorder point if I buy this. So right now I have a quantity on hand of 5, a quantity available of 5. I can see this as I'm entering my sales order real time. And that's based on the selection of this specific location. If I were to change my location, change to US 2, it's going to reset. I can say, oh, I have 201 on hand in US 2 and 99 are available. So I'm going to have them order 100. And you'll notice when I put in 100, I get a notification saying 99 are available. Are you sure? And that would place 1 on back order. So just for simplicity, I'm going to enter 10, which I do have fully available right now today. My pricing automatically can come in. It can source from item records, item customer combinations, different price levels, quantity price breaks, etc. And I'm just going to save my sales order. Now, since all of the quantity is fully available for my warehouse to pick, I could flip on over to my warehouse role and now have my warehouse operations run through the other side of the process. So before I had gone through a little reminder on my orders to receive from the procurement side for my warehouse, I'm going to go down a little bit further to some shortcuts that I have here. So for my warehouse, I do have the ability to print some picking tickets. And I have a filter right now. All items are fully committed to the orders. I'm going to uncheck that allow reprinting. So right here at the top of my list, here's my Mibu Industries sales order. I can check the little checkbox for print. And print. It'll open up a new tab of the actual printed picking tickets. So it'll show me my bin location, associated quantity, how many I need to pick, etc. Once my warehouse picks the items, they're going to want to generate an item fulfillment record. So I have a reminder here for orders to fulfill. I have my transactions sorted right now by date and a filter for all items fully committed. So I could either check the box and submit. I could hit fulfill. I could go to the sales order if I wanted to and view the sales order first. I'm going to go ahead and just fulfill. And within our fulfillment process, we have the ability to break this down into some sub statuses here. Very first status is going to be picked. So once my warehouse prints their picking tickets, they'll create a fulfillment record, and then they can create it just in a status of picked. We also have the ability to print packing slips, so I could move it to packed. And then once I'm in packed status, then I could start building, my packages and put in my tracking numbers. If I have, UPS, FedEx, there are some native built-in integrations that can auto source rates for me, and auto select shipping items with associated costs that I would be charging to my customers. In this case here, just for the sake of time, I'm going to move my status all the way up to shipped. I'm not going to go into any of those sub statuses at the moment. And all I need to do is just save my fulfillment record. And there it is. It gets removed from my queue here. And then it should pass it over now to my AR role. I'm going to log in as my AR analyst. On the AR side, I have a sales orders to invoice reminder. If I click into this here, once again, this is going to look very familiar. I have a whole list of queried data that tells me what's on my to-do list. Theoretically, I could have a lot of these set up with different billing schedules and have the billing schedule run automatically. In this case here, I just have maybe a weekly process where I go in and bill a couple customers. So I'm going to open up the sales order in another tab here. Hold my control button, click on the hyperlink. I just want to share this related record as well on the sales order side. So here's my item fulfillment. I can see here the status got moved to shipped. This influenced the sales order status. So it used to be pending fulfillment, and now it's pending billing. So I can see here the progression of my sales transaction is moving along based on what other people are doing. So this tells me that it's ready for my AR analyst to actually generate the invoice now, to generate some open AR. So I'm going to click on my checkbox for invoice and submit. Once again, I could have run this for all of my transactions that were ready to invoice. I could check all boxes and submit, and then it would generate all associated invoices for each of those customers. Brings me to my batch processing screen. I refreshed, it's complete. And I can see here, here's the record of the sales order, and then here's the associated record of the invoice transaction that it created. And then obviously I can check the GL impact as the AR analyst. This is where I can see here that I am debiting my open receivable for my Mibu Industries. And this is where I'm also posting my revenue associated with this particular line of my sales order that's associated with this product classification. So when I ran my income statement earlier in the demo, this is building that income statement by class. So with that said, I am going to kick it back over to Vivian here. And she's going to talk.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I got it back. Thanks, Ben. I think that was the shortest demo I ever saw you gave. So good job there and well done. I think it gives us a really nice look and feel of the NetSuite solution. You can go forward on the next slide. So when is it the right time to buy a new ERP? I love this slide because I feel like it kind of helps in making that decision. When you start thinking about needing more visibility of the processes and the inventory and what you're managing, having more control over the process, and just agility, right? Customers, specifically during COVID, just demands changed and needs changed, and you needed the agility to be able to change with the demand and how people were buying. Many companies had to switch their businesses or what they were even selling. So we helped companies make those switches very easily because the software had the capabilities to be able to very easily change in functionality. You can go to the next slide. So these are some of the reasons. I try to put down some of the reasons why people buy. One is, I don't know about your industry, but definitely in the consulting world and the software world, employees are very expensive today and hard to retain, hard to train, and hard to continue to manage, right? So with putting in an ERP, many companies put in ERP because it's just for that. They want to keep their employee count low and use automation to help them grow. Just to stay competitive, you can go back to that slide, to stay more competitive as a vendor, to meet customer demands and have questions rapidly available and information available to be able to accurately provide when you're going to get inventory or when a product is going to ship. And just to be able to grow. Many companies, we just had a very, very small startup just starting out, and he decided to put in NetSuite early on. One, to keep his employee count down, and two, to be ready for when the big box companies needed to have some demand, and he was going to be able to have an ERP to be able to manage that demand. You can go forward, Ben. So the pricing, probably something everybody wants to hear. One thing I will tell you just right away is NetSuite doesn't lose on pricing. They will try to work as best they can to try to package the solution and what to your needs, and scale it to whatever amount of users, whether you have 3 users or 3,000 users. But these are the list price before discount. So just to give you guys an idea, and they did start to introduce starter packs. So very aggressively for companies with under 10 users, someone coming off of a QuickBooks, and then for what they call a suite success model, which is pre-configured models based on industry, which really helps on implementation costs because based on what your food and beverage or health and beauty or medical device, they have suite success packages that are tailored and are offered to help on reduce the implementation time. And financing is available. NetSuite has an amazing financing group that has deferred pricing, and they offer 6 months deferred with 0 interest. So it's practically free money, and allows a company to get in and start to use the product and benefit from the product before actually making their first payment. So that's a little bit on the pricing. Obviously, there's a lot more to discuss on that and discuss on the product itself. And we're happy to do that for you. Happy to schedule a tailored demo, happy to answer any questions that you have. With that, I'll pass it back to Laura.
Thanks, Vivian. Sorry I tried to come back earlier. You just can't keep me away from the excitement I have after seeing a NetSuite demo. So thank you both for that excellent overview. Ben, thanks for giving us a sneak peek behind the scenes here. I will go ahead and answer one of the most frequently asked questions we get, which is, this looks great. How do I know it'll work for my business? Great question. We'd love to tell you. You can contact sales or reach out to us in the chat or Q&A panel here, and we would be more than happy to set up a custom demonstration of NetSuite for you, where we can talk about your specific business needs and how NetSuite is able to meet and exceed those expectations you may have. So I have a few questions that have come in here, a couple of questions that came in during registration. If you do have a question, feel free to put it in the Q&A tab. We will be happy to get to as many as we can or follow up with you offline. So Ben, I'm gonna throw this over to you. I know that Vivian mentioned some of the acronyms in that big slide of all the capabilities, but can you talk a little bit about the CRM and HR capabilities specifically?
Yeah, certainly. So NetSuite has a built-in CRM functionality for the entire lead generation process through, the prospecting all the way up until them eventually becoming your own customer. So they have the ability to create opportunities in NetSuite, as well as quotes that are essentially that pre-sales pipeline. And then you can run your sales projections based on your plan versus actual projections as well. And the CRM also ties into some of the marketing functionality, which it's all built in. It's all part of the package. There is no extra charge for that. And the marketing capabilities can help draw in additional leads, and even auto create leads into NetSuite in NetSuite from your website, if you put in a link there.
Excellent, thank you. And for our question asker on that one, I know this is something that can be very nuanced business to business, so definitely feel free to take us up on a tailored demo if you would like to see that more specifically to what questions you may have. Ben, can you talk about integration capabilities of NetSuite and specifically to a 3PL?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the integration front with NetSuite, NetSuite has an open API, so we are able to integrate with pretty much any other system out there that has also open APIs, whether it's inbound or outbound. So specifically around integrating with 3PLs, we do those all the time to be able to keep inventory in sync. So we'll be able to create either flat files or web services, and we can connect those to any 3PL system platforms to be able to integrate item receipts, fulfillments, inventory adjustments, to be able to keep your inventory position real time in NetSuite, both that physical quantity count as well as the associated financial value of your inventory.
Excellent. And a question here, is it easy to handle upgrades in NetSuite?
So the nice thing about a cloud-based platform is you get 2 upgrades every single year. They do it for you. Whether or not you want it, you're always going to be up to date with the latest and greatest NetSuite. And the nice thing that NetSuite allows as a cloud-based system is they will send you in advance some new release notes, sample test cases, and they'll also outfit you with a release preview environment. So you're able to run any of your tests in that release preview before they ever push it out to your live production environment. So you can run any tests, identify any potential defects for any upgrades that NetSuite performs.
Well, I do love it when things are easy. Thank you very much for that. I am not seeing any more questions rolling in. If you do have a question that comes to you after we log off here, feel free to reach out to us again using the email address that you see on your screen, sales@luxent.com, or feel free to respond to one of the emails you got reminding you about our webinar today. With that, we know you're all busy. We appreciate the time that you shared with us today, and we will send you on your way. Thanks so much. Have a good one.